All right, now here's what we're going to do. I'll bring the jury in. The bailiff will bring me the verdict form. I will review the verdict form. There are over 60 counts, so it's going to take me a couple minutes because it's my responsibility to make sure that the verdict form is completely filled out, signed, and dated. So please give me a second to go through that verdict form to make sure it is correct. If it's not correct, then I'll have to bring the attorneys up and we'll have to talk about how we're going to deal with it. But just understand with that many counts, it's going to take me a minute or two to go through it before I hand it to the clerk. When I go through it, make sure it is a completed verdict form. I will hand it to the clerk. I will ask him to publish it to the jury, read it out loud, and he will go through the counts one by one, and he is prepared to do that. He will do that at the podium. Once he is done reading the verdict, I will give the instruction on discharge 4.2. At that point in time, we will release our jury. After our jury has been completely released, we will regroup and talk about where we're going to proceed from there. So just understand that's the process we're going to go through. After we release the jury, we will deal with the verdict here in open court with the state and the defendant as well. But again, we're going to release the jury before we do that. Any questions, Mr. Williams?
Okay.
Mr. Davis, any questions? All right.
All rise. All items behind.
Please come to rest. Good afternoon, jury. It's 1:45 on May the 18th. Mr. Foreman, has the jury reached a verdict? If you will hand the verdict form to our bailiff and he will walk it to me, please. Thank you, Mr. Bailiff.
Yes.
Clerk. I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and publish the verdict.
In the state of Florida versus Zachary Wester, case number 19-CF-431. We, the jury, find as follows as to the counts charged in the information. Count 1, guilty of racketeering as charged. Count 2, not guilty. Count 3, not guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, not guilty. Count 6, not guilty. Count 7, guilty of official misconduct related to Teresa Odom as charged. Count 8, not guilty. Count 9, guilty of official misconduct related to Joshua Manuel as charged. Count 10, guilty of official misconduct related to Stephen Van as charged. Count 11, not guilty. Count 12, not guilty. Count 13, not guilty. Count 14, not guilty. Count 15, not guilty. Count 16, not guilty. Count 17, not guilty. Count 18, not guilty. Count 19, guilty of perjury related to Teresa Odom as charged. Count 20, not guilty. Count 21, guilty of perjury related to Joshua Manuel as charged. Count 22, guilty of perjury related to Stephen Van as charged. Count 23, not guilty. Count 24, not guilty. Count 25, not guilty. Count 26, not guilty. Count 27, not guilty. Count 28, not guilty. Count 29, not guilty. Count 30, not guilty. Count 31, guilty of fabricating evidence related to Teresa Odom as charged. Count 32, not guilty. Count 33, guilty of fabricating evidence related to Joshua Manuel as charged. Count 34, guilty of fabricating evidence related to Stephen Van as charged. Count 35, not guilty. Count 36, not guilty. Count 37, not guilty. Count 38, not guilty. Count 39, not guilty. Count 40, not guilty. Count 41, guilty of possession of controlled substance related to February 15, 2018 as charged. Count 42, not guilty. Count 43, not guilty. Count 44, guilty of possession of a controlled substance related to April 17, 2018 as charged. Count 45, not guilty. Count 46, not guilty. Count 47, not guilty. Count 48, guilty of possession of a controlled substance related to August 1st, 2018 as charged. Count 49, guilty of possession of controlled substance related to August 1st, 2018 as charged. Count 50, not guilty. Count 51, not guilty. Count 52, not guilty. Count 53, not guilty. Count 54, guilty of possession of drug paraphernalia related to February 15, 2018 as charged. Count 55, not guilty. Count 56, not guilty. Count 57, guilty of possession of drug paraphernalia related to April 17, 2018 as charged. Count 58, not guilty. Count 59, not guilty. Count 60, guilty of possession of drug paraphernalia related to August 1st, 2018 as charged. Count 61, not guilty. Count 62, not guilty. Count 63, not guilty. Count 64, guilty of false imprisonment related to Teresa Odom as charged. Count 65, guilty of false imprisonment related to Stephen Van as charged. Count 66, not guilty. Count 67, not guilty.
All right, Mr. Clerk, if you'll go ahead and poll our jury.
Mr. Alday, is this your verdict? Mr. Armstrong, is this your verdict? Mr. Dominguez, is this your verdict? Mr. Gibson, is this your verdict? Ms. Godwin, is this your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Meadows, is this your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Jury, I'm going to give you some closing instructions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in your jury room, except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. At this time, I'm going to go ahead. Mr. Williams, is there any reason why I should not release our jury?
No, Judge.
Mr. Davis, any reason I should not release our jury?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to leave your name badges in your chair, and you are free to go and get your cell phones, tablets, electronic devices that we have held. You also are free to get anything out of the jury room that you need to get out, and you are discharged. If you need a letter from the clerk, one has been made available for you. I appreciate your time and consideration of this case. Good luck to you.
All rise.